It probably makes you a bad person for not playing Mario. That's funny. Welcome back, anyone viewing. We're literally just having a random look at the code to try and debug this problem. The problem we're having, let's show you. Okay, so as you can see, the scrolling background's working. And there's a sprite being drawn at position 2, 2. And that is correctly positioned. If we put it to 5, 5, you'll see that that's only 5 pixels, but this is 5 character cells in the x-axis. So that's correct. If we wanted to put it right down at the bottom of the viewport, it's an 8. The sprite is 8 height already. The screen is 68, so we'll have 64, sorry. So we'll pop in 56. And there he is at the bottom. But annoyingly, that I'll move him back to 2 and he'll be fine. There's him at position 2x. Now we'll try 1. He's gone. And that made it a way annoying problem when I was first writing this code, because obviously I just put him at 0, 0, and I was wondering why he wasn't showing up. It took me a few tries to think, why don't I change the x and y? But he shows up in the exactly correct space for these coordinates up here. But for some reason, if it's 1 or 2 here, 0 or 1 here, he does not show up. And I've tried a lot of different y values just in case that was some sort of mess up in the calculation. He's still gone. If I put it back to 2, he'll reappear on the 20th line down. There he is. And so, I tried a lot of things messing around. Here I've modified it to specify before we draw the player the position. So now we can, that should be called draw sprite, because I've actually changed it so it will draw any sprite that's 8 by 8. But I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'll call it draw sprite 8, and that just means it's an 8 by 8. I'll know what that means. And then if I want to draw 16, I'll have to make another function, similar one. But yeah, that's our problem. If anyone saw that, again I'll run it with 20 and 2 at x, 20y. Shows up perfectly in position. I can move him to 5x. He's right there where I expect him to be. As soon as you go to 1 or 0, no matter what the y value is, he's gone. I modified the draw sprite, as I say. Now it's got an input of the x and the y being in DE. Straight away I load HL to 0. Then I take the y coordinate from E, put it into A and then into L. I was doing all this, I changed all this around, tried multiple different versions to try and make him show up. Yeah, if you haven't played, it is a puzzle, man, because I'm drawing directly to that first piece of memory. and right here we take it from the first piece of buffer memory, and we just do like I've gone over this so many times privately, and I started to think, well, maybe these values are wrong, but then it works. It looks correct, and it works perfectly in all the other positions. That's what's so weird. But just the first two, and then it's not even to do with like the first bit of memory, because when you go down like 20 lines in Y, you're way further into the memory. Do you know what I mean? It's nowhere near the start of the buffer, but it's only the first two X. It's so weird. It really, really is. But I tried adding a margin at one point. So if I do 3 there, that's going to do a margin for our viewport, but that might mess up. In fact, that should be fine. There we go. If I put him to 2, he's going to be in the correct position, what you would think. And there he is. So it doesn't matter where the screen starts either, you know what I mean? And this is where it really proves that this sort of logic is working. We know that that's 16 character cells wide, and the character is 1 character cell. So I'll put him at 15x, and in fact I'll put him at 56y, just to prove it's absolutely correct. He's there in the bottom right corner. It's really flipping strange. I would pay someone money if they could tell me, if they would even just send back working code. But even better if they could tell me where I went wrong. Because I've spent so many hours now trying to figure it out. I'm getting to the stage where I might just ignore it and play along, just pretend it's not there for now, play around, work around it. Just don't let them into themselves. I was also thinking of making a non-standard sized window. It's really just more of the same of this, If you wanted to make a window that was 20 character cells, you would probably just want to use 10 of these twice, or you could use 16 and then just 4 on the next run, but you'd be able to make it more uniform if you were just using 10 each time. You could probably get away with using the IX and the IY, and then you've got 20 there. But I thought about it and I thought I'm happy with it. I'm happy with this one. If anything, I'll just add segment 2, which would be an exact carbon copy of this, but except for this number will still be incrementing constantly. But at the moment I can't even be bothered to do that. I'm happy with the viewport. It doesn't allow for much of a game. I suppose I could quickly do that. It won't take me that long. Because actually, none of this code changes except for where it says seg1. It used to be seg2. And then, like I say, the numbers go up. Let's do that then. At least I'll make some sort of progress. This is where I tend to mess up doing the copy paste, but I'm going to use I'm going to select it all to start with. believe that's all that needs to change. And then this starts from 64. Just keeps going up. That's the only bit I can't get around. It's just manual labour. And I did mess this up. I found it when I was debugging the other thing. I missed one line out. That's why in the previous session I had one line at the bottom was looking a bit funny. I didn't notice it until I was doing it on my own later. Quite a lot more of this repetitive stuff, I'm afraid. It's about until I finish. And I probably won't get to the end. I'll just roll another ciggy halfway through. Like you rightly said the other day, you could probably come up with some sort of script to write all this for you. But I don't know, that'd probably be more hassle than just writing it in the first place, I guess. But I mean, in theory, now this is written, I can just use it forever, can't I? You know, on every game. Obviously, I'm going to need to improve this before it's like the final version of it. But it'll be all the way up to 127, I think. So we've got a long way to go. I'm getting to 100 and then I'm stopping for a break. The mouse wheel just makes it 10 times worse. I refuse to buy another mouse though. I bought two expensive mice, whatever you want to say. And both of them, the wheel went on within a year, or less. So I'm just cursed with it. Like, I'm not a very tidy person. They get wound up with other wires, and I end up falling asleep on top of the bloody thing or whatever. Right. I think I'll go back to the Poundland mouse now. I'm not playing Counter Strike every day or ever. It was great when they sold mouse in Poundland. I don't know if they still do. I should have stocked up at that point, really. Got about 10 of them. You needed 10 because, like, if you bought 3, only one of them would work. The rest of them would work, but there'd be some fault with them. But they're always good as a spare, innit? Especially if you ain't got a lot of money. Because if this is truly this painless, this is not bad, is it? We could actually make a viewport that is the whole of the screen height and half width with this without modifying anything, And that's quite a big game area there, you know. We could move it into the middle, or to just move it a bit to the right and then have a UI on the right of that, or whatever. That's the trick. Sometimes to make games feel a bit different, just have a slightly different size viewport, and you can near enough put the same game into it. Alright, let's get the rest of these 30 odd out or less. Give up on the mouse wheel. I'm using page up, page down, so I hope that's not too disorientating. There's only like 20 to go. I'll do the wheel again. The wheel of misfortune. Not too many more. If I was a real maths whiz, I'd know how many it's going to be at the end, so that I'd know if I'd missed one. I think it's going to be 127. It'll be somewhere close to that. But obviously I need to be dead on, and then I'd know for a fact I've got it right or wrong. If it's 127, I'm reasonably confident that it's correct. And it's going to be, isn't it? Or is it 128? You can work it out actually at the end. You can just add all these up and see if it comes where it ends up. That's what I ended up doing today. And that's how I figured out it was wrong, but it didn't actually. I thought it was going to solve the problem when I found that, but it didn't. Yeah, 127. Brilliant. There we go. So they start. Oh, that still says seg 1. Did I move into seg 1, did I then? It says seg 2. Good. So that's all I've changed. Seg 2, all the offsets remain the same. And then obviously we don't go back to the same bit of memory, we keep going through. So did I even allocate any memory to this? In the video, in the play window? No. Well, let's just make that 8 and 8. 2 times 2 there. I think we're good to go. That was relatively painless if that works. All the code should be pre-ready to do that, I think. Yeah. Superb. I'm happy with that. I don't know about you. That's like, you can call that a game area. It's not the worst one. Seen worse. Like if you had a really cool game, like some sort of beat 'em up or something running in here with good sprites, you would need it to be small like that. Do you know what I mean? This is where I'm going with that. I mean, should I be even cockier? We've got this recorded on GitHub. It's not like we're losing anything. What we could do is we could add IX and IY. You could add them twice. Couldn't you? Do they have shadow registers IX, IY? Let me look that up. I don't know. It does look good, yeah, I'm happy with this. Hopefully we can now add, well, all sorts of things. We need probably a bit bigger sprites. And then I want to add fire in as well and make that not fail. It was failing last time. I'm just quickly browsing the internet, trying to figure out whether you can use the shadow registers with IX. I'm not so sure you can. I mean, we don't even need to use the shadows actually anyway to get some extra width. I'll just try it and see what happens, yeah? That's what we're going to have to do. I'll try and browse, but they keep using not IX and IY in all the examples I just saw. So I'm going to say we probably can't, but I guess there's an easy way of checking here, isn't there? Oof. Didn't mean to do that. Right, so if this works, then I'm going to safely say we can do it. Okay. That seems to be working. Perhaps slightly slower, I don't know. But I've put it back to how it was. I could really cheat as well and put pop H. You need multi-line find and replace, don't you? That would be so useful. Because it's going to take a long time to add them on, that's the only thing. Don't know if it's worth it. It's 130 times in it, and then I'd have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like 500 lines. Plus changing the constants. It's not that bad. Copy paste. Do you know what? I'll do it now. I want to do it because then we'll have this sort of viewport locked down, except for that stupid 0 and 1 thing I really can't figure out. If we change window width, it's currently 16. Let's change it to, if I use IX twice, that's 20, and IY, we can have 24 without having to mess about. So that's the width sorted. Need more memory. Need a calculator for that. Where am I? I'm completely confused. Oh, 24 character cells. So it's 24 times 8 times 8, isn't it? Yeah, hex 600 instead of hex 400. Brilliant. I don't know why I was making that so difficult. So, flipping how did I put it? That's only one segment, of course. So it obviously starts in the same place, but it goes 12 forward. C. It's just clearer like that, isn't it? And that. And that's it. So this should be relatively painless, really, what we're doing here. We're just changing the viewport size to any size we want, almost. This is the laborious bit. And also the dangerous bit where I'm going to mess it up in it. Right, I'm going to do pop IX, pop IY. And then the exact same thing. So I'll do all of them and I'll come back and do the others in a minute. Cool. Didn't I come up with some quick way of doing this last time? Oops. If I search pop HL, guess that kind of helps. Oh, there's a hotkey for that, that's what it is. F4. Okay. Right, that's good. Oh, there's a few keys I've got to mess around with. Whoa. There's a long way to go here. Oops. Oh yeah, sorry, I meant on find and replace. It would be great to be able to do that multiple line. That's what I meant, yeah. Sometimes I talk rubbish. I only half say things. I might have it in like a high latency mode as well, because I had it in 60 FPS. I've still got it in 60 FPS actually. Seems to be just handling it. The stream, I mean, that is OBS. Right, I've only done a few of these and I need to do absolutely loads and then go through it again. So this is the laborious one. It'd be worth it if it works. So I'm only like a tenth of the way through it. Whew. It's just the way it goes with coding and assembly, this really. I'd love to be wrong on that. If so, you know, hopefully I'll get proved wrong with that statement. Hopefully there's ways. I mean, I think this is unavoidable. Or I should say, I think I'm doing it roughly the quickest way. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, put it all in. I don't think you can put it all on one line, but you might be able to. Cool, that would be amazing, actually, wouldn't it? Oh well, I'll live and learn if that's the case. Find out next time. I don't want to fail this now. Oh dear. Maybe it does work. God, I want to try now, but I don't want to get confused. I was just thinking about finding a place then. See, I could use find and replace, and then I could just come along and press enter on all of them to knock them down a line. Yeah, I'm glad you agree. You just got to get used to it, haven't you? I'm actually looking for push HL, pop HL, and I'm just adding that after it though, aren't I? Let's try it, sod it. I'll draw a massive great load of commas here so we can at least find where I was. And then copy paste everything here. Find pop HL. Just try. Oh, hang on a minute. Ah, what did I just? It done it. Oh, you can't undo it. You can. It done it. It done it. I just need. That was weird. It can do it, but there's no actual way of doing it in here. I need to paste it, but go down a line. There we go. Control and enter. Oh, that's fantastic. Find something like new every single day. Oh, what a shame. Alright, undo all that. It was only the IX and the IY. Oh, you can't indent. Yes. Oh, hell yeah. So I think now I can just go all the way to the bottom and just copy all of it and do the same with the push. Or select all of it, I should say. Yeah. Oh, it's the other way around though, isn't it now? Damn. Actually, that's okay. So yeah, just every time we find a push out cell. It has to change to push, push, IY, push IX, push HL. Let's do the job properly. I kind of wondered whether that would be the case. I love it. Took us like 10 minutes max, didn't it? And now I know that, 2 minutes next time. Obviously I can't check every line, but let's just go here or here. So here's where it starts. Looks great to me. And the constants we've done already. So our code's robust at this stage. Even if I do say so myself. This particular, it doesn't work correctly. I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet too much here, but it's modifiable. We thought ahead with a lot of this, with the way it uses the constants. We didn't have to change a great deal there. Let's hope it works. I'm getting a bit cocky before even testing it. Oh, it's failed. No, it hasn't failed. I didn't do the top segment, did I? But look at this sprite over here. On the right. No. Yeah, the one on the right shouldn't be there. So maybe that. Oh, how did I fix that anomaly before? Because we had that before and I did fix it. I think it was one of these numbers. No, it wasn't. Don't know what it was. How I fixed it. Let's try 3, 0. Just see what happens. Okay, that looks kind of normal. Obviously, I'd love to be able to lift that viewport off the bottom of the screen, but there's no simple way of doing that. Except for we could just not use that bottom character cell if we wanted to have a border there. I'd say I'd probably get rid of the margin, Now it's quite a nice big viewport. It doesn't need a margin, I don't think. It gives you more space for the UI now. Obviously, I think I might as well do segment 1. Copy that. So I have the whole left side of the screen as the game area, and the right side UI. Top, middle, and bottom, yeah. Yeah, you can't check it all, can you? Unless you run into problems. And like earlier today, I went through this line by line, and I found that one of them I'd skipped. One of them numbers there, I'd just gone from like 23 to 25 without knowing. Well, just to finalise this, because this is actually becoming a nice piece of code, I think, this window one. Because I actually do think it's the problems in the draw sprite for the sprite. you can't be sure because the background is so uniform. Maybe it is getting it from the wrong bit of memory. I don't. But if it was duplicating it like it is with the sprite, we wouldn't actually know because it'd be moved over to the right, but it would just look normal. But I might as well do seg 0 as well. Then we've got a real nice big play area. I'll save that to GitHub right now though, because I like the size of that one as well. What would you call that size-wise? Like bottom third, 2/3. It's like a 2/3 of the screen thing. That was like window 2/3. I know what that means. Oh, I mean, luckily our code isn't too big, so when I did step through it line by line, and it was much smaller than this, it didn't take me that. I think there's only 64 of these, and that's how I did it though. I didn't even step through it line by line. I went to the very last one. I added that together on a calculator, and I found that it was exactly the same as the upper like address of memory, and obviously it needs to be the width less. So really it needed to be one less. So really I knew there was one missing, but I had to find which one. I've saved it to GitHub. We've just done this, but I'm going to do the same thing again. It's not the same thing. Last time we widthened it, but we just done this a minute ago with the segments. So each segment is 600 in hex. And we're at 13, so it's actually going to go to 9.3 now, isn't it? Oops. And what else do I need to change? I know there's something. Oh yeah, where we begin in memory. Let's change that to hex. We'll begin there. Alright, I think that's done. That's now set up waiting for me to just copy and paste this. Oh, bummer. Obviously, well, in that case, I'm going to go rename this to seg 0. Change. Just to be sure, I'll write the whole thing. Oh, I could have copy and pasted it first, couldn't I? Oh, there's no problem. So this one's seg 1 now. Whoops. Damn you. Okay. What? I just copied it. Just copied one line. Okay. Probably didn't leave enough of a gap there. Now I don't know which one it is. I think it's this one. Yeah. Yeah, with clever use and copy and replace, or find and replace, and when you write your code in such a way, you can really speed it up. But the only thing that's annoying now is I've got to change all these. Starting there. I mean, I could have made a variable, you know, and just incremented it as we went through this. That would have used A though. And also, if I want to use A, it would have to be 255 max, which probably would be enough anyway. I just suddenly doubted myself in the numbers then. Oh, so it's easy to make a mistake, isn't it? Whatever 128, 127 plus 64 is, that's what I'm hoping to get. I feel like I just messed up. 191 it should go up to. It's laborious. I think 30 more. Yeah, I used to use Notepad++ for a very long time. Eventually I went to this. There was something that I was doing on Unity, or Unreal, I think it was, where this was just so much better or easier to set up to one thing, so it just made me move across. I still have Notepad++, but basically I use it just to dump notes on now and not save it. I just close it and they're still there. Just write things I want to remember. But yeah, it's superb, and obviously you can add the plugins in. It's just not quite so easy. Something happened to one of my plugins on there or something. I just got annoyed with it. But yeah, if I ever, I mean, I don't go around recommending IDEs or note word processors to people in general. But if I ever have, I normally would go for Notepad++. Yeah, it is a brilliant app. But I use a lot of Visual Studio as well, so I quite like having it on VS Code. I think they do pretty good software, to be fair. I mean, yes, this has been laborious, but we've actually made a huge difference to our gaming with really little brain power. Do you work from home then, Moz? Or do you have an office as well where you have to go to? Or are you self-employed? Perfect. Let me just double check on my calculator one last time. Yeah, 191. Home since March. Oh, you're furloughed, like, sort of thing. Or home. I remember having a conversation with you about it now. For some reason I thought it was someone else. Well, we've completely ignored the puzzle of the 0x, but I've made some fun changes here. Oh, it has knackered it though. Damn. I mean, I've restored. I can restore from GitHub back to the original size. I wonder if that's to do with my constants or this. Let me skim it. Seg 0 is fine. Seg 1. Oh, I didn't think of that, did I? I'm gonna have to change all these. No, no, I'm not. I'm leaning towards thinking this is okay. Let's add it up. So 32768 plus 24 times 91 in brackets. 191 I mean. So that's that adds up to can't be right. That's wrong completely. Ignore that for sure. How's that? I've just put it into the calculator wrong somehow. There we go. That's still wrong then. Ugh. So the bit in the brackets works out to that. For some reason my calculator isn't having it. Plus 32768 so what's that in hex? 91E8 and 1E8. Because if you add 24 to that, which is how much we want it to be, you get 92k. So that's where I've gone wrong, I think. Even though I don't see how that would actually. I could probably safely start out for 92 as well. Oh, it's no longer scrolling as well. It's not starting from the very start, is it? Obviously, with my copy and paste, I've managed to mess something up already. Or maybe the constant. I changed all these to decimals, and I don't like it now. So segment's 800 in it, but I mean hex, sorry, 80. Yeah, it is. Wasn't there one called seg size? It used to be, but I think I got rid of it. they're all starting in the right place for sure. No margin. That's correct. Let me double check. 24 times 8 times 8. What have I done here? That's correct. That's how big a segment is. Just to be sort of fancy and clear. I'll do that. Do I like it better? Yeah. That isn't even in use. Is it just too big now, maybe? Work from home while barbecuing. That's living the dream, man. Yeah, that would be awesome. See, what's the word for it? Like a vocation. I know that was my vocation in life, but I just never made it. You know what I mean? But it definitely was. But I let other things deter me. I'm happy with all of them. I'm happy it's got nothing to do with that. Maybe it's too big. Like, it's a large portion of the screen now, isn't it? I'll try oh, is it constant? Try changing that to like 9. See what happens. No difference whatsoever, is it? Do you? I as you probably gathered from my streams, I stay in quite a lot nowadays. I used to go out a lot, but I don't have to go out for very long before I get a tan. It's lucky like that, I guess. And never burn either. I can be out all day. Um, it's been too hot for me though. Oh, why is it not starting at the top of the screen? Pale blue. That's a weird one, though, isn't it? I take it for granted with me that it only takes me about 10 minutes to get a tan, and I can also just sit there all day and just get brown over all of you. It's lucky. Well, most of the time I'm unlucky, but with that particular thing, that meaningless thing of life. But yeah, I've took the opinion now. I prefer just staying in and actually trying to get good on the computing. I used to go out a lot and just waste time, you know. I can't figure out why it's not starting at the very beginning. Am I starting at? I mean, that is the start of spectrum memory, isn't it? Video memory. I'm gonna have to double check that now. I think it is though. Wow. I didn't even know that Bahrain was a country when I was a kid. I thought it just got existing like when I was maybe in my teens or like even 20s. Is that Dubai or has that also been around for ages? To me, they just feel like new countries. I don't think we used to hear much about them around where I'm from. I tell you what, though, I'd love to make some Spectrum games and then buy an actual 48K of eBay, do some streaming with the homebrew, like a legit homebrew one, you know. Does Visual Studio kill your PC at work? No way. Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried much. I think my computer here can handle it. Actually, I have done some C++ since I got this. I've got a Dell Optiplex. It's terrible. It really is. It's one of the worst computers I've owned in the last 10 years. I would very happily swap this with the PC I threw in the bin 7 years ago. I'd probably give her a bit of cash to boot to sweeten the deal. I mean, I didn't literally throw it in the bin. It ended up in the tip, but I put it in someone's room, in spare room. You know, tried to keep it, but it's gone now. Otherwise, I'd be using it because it was a gaming PC. But then I got a better gaming PC, but that's broken, completely broken. The motherboard and graphics card. And power supply. I'm loving it though. Having such a bad PC now makes me focus on stuff like this. 4K coding, like interesting fact. Is your mum Arabic? You want to be a cowboy? No way. Parents mess your head up, don't they, in all sorts of ways. Obviously, they don't intend to. I don't think most of the time. I can. I've still got a memory. I grew up in like, well, we moved about a lot, but it was like some sort of city in the southeast near London when I was very very young. And my mum used to make me wear a balaclava. I can still remember it. I used to hate wearing it. It wasn't like a full face, but it was. Still to this day find it funny. It's not that cold here. She's miner's daughter from Northumberland. Crazy. My niece has become very Arab style. Like she's become obsessed with that sort of side of culture at the moment. For the last, she's like 30 now. Probably for the last 3 years, she's been like that. Yeah, it was like a ninja. I can still remember it. Honestly, I must have been like three or less because I used to have to always hold my mum's hand when we were walking through. I can still remember it though. This grey balaclava with like the full face open. And I can still remember, even though I was only like 3 or whatever years old, I can still remember being embarrassed to wear it. You know what I mean? Funny. You don't think kids think like that, but they do. There was another one I used to hate wearing as well, like a top with something on it. And that's one of the only things I can actually remember from being that age, you know. I can remember a few other little things, like, and I know I was that age because it collaborates with events that occurred, that actually occurred at a certain time, like when my sister was born and stuff. Yeah, although I never see photos now. They've gone. But there's a few photos floating around of me, but not many. Someone's probably got them stashed away somewhere in a drawer. I can't failing to see anything that's wrong with this. It must be my copy pasta. I just wonder, was it just too quick? Like, is it too much? But then again, wouldn't that VSync make a bit of a difference if that was the case? Seems to be starting not from the top and actually overrunning, maybe. Yeah, the screen isn't scrolling either, it's so weird, but it hasn't seemed to crash here at my end. You can normally tell because you get a little noise and then it does actually make the screen go black. I don't get that. Should be perfectly fine, really. I mean, I won't bother changing it back. I'll just download it off GitHub. On 12. Alright. Oh, 64. On 28. I have to know what this is, but my brain is telling me it's just too much, too big a screen. I'm sure that's not the right answer. Only if I just get rid of that scrolling a second. Oh yeah, I did separate scrolling into its own thing. And then stupidly as well, I called it in here. Maybe that's why. It's still the same, but maybe a tiny bit different. Get rid of the scrolling completely. It still does that weird thing. If you have the smaller viewport like we had before, and if you don't give it enough time, enough frames, with enough halts, like you have to have one halt and then 2 or 3 frames. When you don't put enough, you do get that sort of exact same graphical glitching happen when it sort of runs out of time. I guess I could try putting like 20 frames wait, so it's like now 25, it's like 2 frames per second now. I'll put the scrolling back here, leave it there. So I'll put it there and change that to 25. No. It seems to be trying to scroll at the bottom there. Let's try 100. It's nothing to do with that. I can't imagine what it is. Because I've checked everything I can think of. It's not going over into the other memory. You'd know about it if it was, because the colours would change anyway, wouldn't they? I suppose it's got a bit of a leeway to go over before it gets into colour memory. But it's not going over. We've added it up. Hang on, maybe I didn't actually. I got halfway through doing it. So it's 9200. Did I change that? I did. So we've got 24 character lines times 8 times 8 times 3. No different, yeah. It shouldn't have been any different, but I was just checking that you could do that. That maths there wasn't messing up. Why is it not drawing the top 2 lines? I bet this is linked. It could be linked to what the other thing is probably. Excellent first game. Scuttlebutt. Sounds like something the angry video game nerd would come out with, isn't it? He's got a load of homebrew games. I don't think he made them. Some of them are good. There's a Punch Out clone on Atari 2600. Yeah, I don't know what the flipping hell is going on at the bottom lines. Just out of interest then, let's just try not doing the bottom segment. Don't need to bother changing these for that. I mean, it doesn't really matter if I allocate too much memory. We'll see if it works, and if not, we can change these. It should be fine. I've got a kind of feeling this might work. Not really. Same problem, but just no graphical problems at the bottom. But there's still this issue at the top there. It's as if I've got the constant wrong for the start of the video memory. But I haven't. Yeah, I love Punch Out as well. I'm going to play some of that on stream soon. But obviously most people who stream it are really good. I'm not that bad. I don't think I've completed it though. I've got pretty far. I'm doing that on retro achievements as well. It's definitely 4,000 hex. Just checked it. Just out of interest, I'm going to try dragging it into one of these other specky emulators a sec. Where did Z80 Stealth go? There. Oh, it just crashes. Z80 Stealth. That's specky. Just crashes. Interesting. Yeah, it loads in Fuse. I wonder, should I just change it? I'm not going over the memory, am I? With just this small amount of code. There's loads of space left, isn't there? Do you know what? I remember playing Barry McGuigan's when I was a kid. It's that side-on boxing game, in it? It's sort of side-on. I'll look it up now, because I remember having that game. I actually played Spectrum quite a long way into its lifespan. I had one from 1984 when I was very young, no, 1986, sorry. And I played it probably until about 92, regularly. Like, still bought games and everything. Yeah, it's side on, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, I used to play that. I can remember playing that a lot. That's going to have to come out. I'll probably stream that on a night where there's a big boxing fight on, you know. Do a bit of Barry McGuigan's. He's sometimes a commentator on the boxing as well, still, isn't he? I don't know if he still does it, but the last time, I have seen him in the last few years doing commentary. Great couple of little memories there. So I'm going to write them down. Barry McGuigan. Oh, I hate iPad as well. Yeah, definitely Barry McGuigan. Got quite a few games written out to try. And also, I am going to start doing a couple of theme streams. Yeah, I'll try it out because I remember actually spending time to learn that game when I was a kid. I can't remember. Does it have training in it? There's one game that's like that also has training, like so you can improve your boxer. I think on the Spectrum. Maybe it was the NES. I get confused with the NES and the Spectrum, weirdly enough, because I had them both at the same time. I played a lot of both. Oh, I wish I could figure out what's wrong with this, but I think I'm just gonna get it back from GitHub. I'll close that a second, delete it completely. Doesn't let me just revert, it's annoying. Oh, okay. I've got to commit the failed code first. That seems stupid. I think I'm pressing the wrong bloody thing. Alright, finally I got it. Okay. Let's try and run it. Okay, we're back to there at least. And I'm actually I'm actually happy with the size of that. If it allows me to have more sprites on the screen and moving faster, I'm happy to have it that small, maybe even smaller. That's not a bad size. That's still like as big as the Commodore when it's in full colour mode, isn't it? Near enough, I reckon. How many lines is that? Well, it's 128 in it, yeah. It's a resolution of 128 by whatever 16 times 8 is. No, 24 times 8, yeah. So 192 by 128 resolution of the game window. Not bad. I'll stick with that size for now. Have a look at it. Why can't I move my character to the left of the screen now? It's really bugging me. I'm still unsure whether this code in init or we can just delete it. Let's comment it out. Is that guaranteed to get called before main? Like if draw background took 5 frames worth, if I just put so much in there, is it going to still spill over to main? That's what I still don't understand. Like for example, you know, if I put in draw background loads of really intensive loops in here, will it definitely suspend and just wait? I think it might, but I either need to do some experiments or read up and find out that. Alright, so all we've really achieved so far is just extending the size of the window. We've also extended the width and the height. It was a trivial process. Don't know why I failed on the last one. Maybe I just done a typing error, I don't know. What to add next? Inertia tables, isn't it? Doesn't look that complicated. Yeah, I really would love that, man. Someone even in the comments on YouTube one day might just drop a line and say, this is where you've gone wrong. You never know. You never know. Eventually I'll crack it, you know, whatever it is. Especially that stupid left thing. If you move left too far, you vanish. Wasn't there some problem? Hang on a minute. So he's in a good position there. Wasn't there somewhere? Did we fix the problem where what happens if I put him at 9? Oh, he's vanished. What the hell? It's got to be something to do with my calculation on draw sprite, that is, hasn't it? It's got to be. Oh, we need it to be 24. I nearly made the same mistake I made before. We have to remember to, if you adjust the width, if I record it there, that will do it, won't it? I'm gonna have to be stupid tricky here. I'm gonna load A. I could always just push BC, couldn't I, and pop it. Yeah. Right. So now BC equals the same as y times 8. think that'll work. Just trying to think of the best way to comment now. I'd just like to think that somewhere, someday, someone will read these comments and it might help them. That's why I put them there. Oh yeah. I'm not going to comment what push and pop do. Oh, it didn't even compile. Oh, can I not do that? Just do my noob way around it. Pretty sure you can do that. Still not showing up though. In my head that works. I'm just going to run through a couple of scenarios on the calculator. Like if y is 5, plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. So y now equals 20. BC should equal 20. Oh, it shouldn't be plus 5. What am I talking about? 5 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 40. Times 2 is 80. So that would equal 120. 5 times 24, 120. As far as I know, that should be right. I don't like y being 0 now either. No, it still didn't show up. Now it does. It's probably something to do with the X, wasn't it? Take out the buffering. Yeah, but to draw the sprite at 0, 0 directly to the memory, we could only do the first byte. The rest of it would get put down 8 lines each time. And I did try that privately, and it worked. It went to where I expected it. I've also got a picture of the memory map, and they all say it starts at 0x4000. Oh, new constancy. Oh, these have gone back to decimal because I refreshed them from GitHub. Oh my god, yeah, my brain's done. Yeah, it did draw in the right place when I just draws directly to I drew it directly starting at OX 4000, and I got basically it looks like it's sliced the sprite. I think I did record it. I think somewhere in one of them long videos I did it live. I seem to remember seeing it on a video that I was watching back on my own. Sometimes I skim through them. But yeah, it's a kind of pain in the ass to do just to demonstrate it, because it's the kind of thing that, you know, once I do it, I might struggle to get back to where I am even. I load the X and Y into D and E. I mean, all of this I'm doing, I'm assuming that the background is working alright and the buffer. Like you say, it might not. Maybe it is the buffer that's wrong. I wouldn't actually know if it was duplicating some of that background in line. You know, as long as they were in complete character cells, we wouldn't know. But, and therefore, if it was duplicating some, it would probably be missing some as well, which would explain why we're not seeing the player in some positions. But it is a step in the right direction, definitely, and we'll keep going, because I'm sure it's just something silly and little. But I have been through this line by line, and I've started adding these. And when I was doing it, I had a very good idea of how much they were worth and where it was in the memory and that. And I checked it about 3 times, and I just could not see a problem with it. Maybe here is more likely, but even these I think are correct. I mean, that's why the buffer. I mean, the background looks okay. It wouldn't be if we change this. Uh, we're gonna have a problem. Oh no, not. Is that one even in use? Don't think it is. Well, it's not, is it? Let's delete it. Let's start simplifying the code. Probably our best bet right now. If I change this, it'll mess up. Obviously. Now, it was still drawing the buffer, but the buffer wasn't filled with anything. But hang on, it was on C, so if I put D, I still don't think this will cause any problem. It'll just mean the buffer's got more in it than we're actually showing. Interesting. Thing is that by going over there, you are actually right into memory, which is undesirable, you know. You want to know every piece of memory. It needs to be there for a reason, you know. But the only reason that didn't fail was because that proves that the buffering window is working correctly, to be honest. Put that up to E from C. We're now drawing more background. Our buffer is bigger. Well, is the buffer bigger? I mean, yeah. Well, not the buffer, but the background itself is bigger than the buffer. This is what we're calling the buffer. This is dictated by the size of these constants, isn't it? And how many of these we do. Constants here. We use this, this. Don't forget we use this. Let's get rid of it. And we use these. But now it doesn't match with our background, is what I'm saying. But it doesn't cause us any bother. The window still appears the same size. Which is actually good news for me. To me, that proves my buffer code is working 100%. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted it to look like. It just means that for some reason we're drawing more background than we need to, which is wrong. We just want to pop it down to C. Now if I put it down to B, we'll notice, let me try and work out where it's going to fail. It's going to run out probably just right at the bottom, isn't it? Not much to run out. Yeah. And the buffer is still being drawn, there's just no background in there. I don't know why it's like one line is like that at the bottom. That's a little bit, do you know what? That's proper confusing. Why is it like that? Because that's got to be to do with this 0 and 1 thing. Because all I've done is, the buffers remain the exact same size, the windows remain the same size, but the background I've drawn, I've just reduced the amount of iterations where I go through drawing background. But why has it done that instead of starting from the very left side of the screen? That is mind-boggling. That just happens to be, is that 1 second? Yeah, it is interesting because that is lined up with where that glitch occurs. Do you get what I mean? So, and that's like it's painting that last line, and it's starting from like 2x. It seems for some reason. So maybe is it getting wrapped? Is the last little bit for some reason is that actually like the 15th and 16th, or the 23rd and 24th byte of this sequence somehow? But then if that was the case, surely you'd see it at the top line as well. Definitely, the top line's dead straight, isn't it? Oh, is it? Or is it? Let me zoom in. Is that straight? I think it is. Yeah, that's straight, isn't it? Okay. Let's pull the player down to how far down is it? In pixels. 8 times 15. Oh, look at that. He's still in the buffer. And it lines up exact. If I move him any further left, he doesn't get drawn. How flippin' strange. I mean, it starts on the left. I could get rid of margin size, but what's the point? It's 0. It's not that, is it? Hmm. Oh, it seems F2 gives you some sort of refactoring. That's interesting. Is that a new update? I didn't know that happened before. This is the bottom character line of the bottom segment. Well, it's not, we're not even seeing the bottom segment anymore. It's actually the background code doing that, isn't it? Of course that needs to be 8C. Let's put it back to where it should be. Really simple routine there though. It would explain it if L was not 0. That would explain why it doesn't start, I guess, at the beginning. Load HL with the full one, and then everything's fine still. Let's try that. It should be the same really, but it's down there, okay. And now we're losing. Let's see. Oops, wrong button. And he's gone. I'm never going to figure this one out, I don't think. I mean, I've figured out why I went wrong. Like, he should be able to be positioned anywhere else once you get out of 2. I put him to say 6, and then 100 y, and that's dead on. So we could still play. We can make a game out of this and just never let him go under 2. But you know that's like I don't know what you call that, but you know that's weak coding. Put it that way. I am looking forward to some other systems where you can there's probably like a way to access pixels directly. I'm guessing. I don't know. Maybe you still have to do the exact same tricks. This is a real head scratcher though, this. I've been through that hundreds of times now. It looks good to me. And then we just go 8 times. We know that works because we see the thing drawn correctly over and over again. It's only that weird position, isn't it? When x is 0. Here's where we add x. It is a challenge, man. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep trying. I really am. But I'm running out of ideas now. I end up starting from scratch, but I've done it twice. This is now the second time we've got this exact same problem, where I started with a blank page. What I love about this code that I've written is it's completely got rid of that yx to pix function. Yx to pix was good. It was well, what's the word? Optimized, by very clever coders. That's why it was like as yx, because they needed to leave it in that so that they could manipulate the bits to get it into the memory in the right order. But this line thing we've done here actually does all that, just in a more brute force way. This is actually quicker, really, than that yx to pix. Well, supposedly. There's not much arithmetic or anything going on in that. I mean, I could try and post this on the Specky forums and say, look, I've got this, where I'm trying to draw a proper 2D array in my normal memory, my buffer memory. Try to use it like a 2D array, and for some reason I can't move my sprite to 0 or 1 on the X. Someone might help me. I get not embarrassed, but I feel like I'm bugging them when I ask too many questions on forums, because then I tend to not have time to chit chat too much. So I sort of ask a question and then I'm gone. I did add sound effects to the stream, but I don't know how they work. Apparently users can do sound effects, but I don't think you have to pay. I think it's free. But If you have to pay, tell me because I'll delete it. I don't want some other company making money out of it. They are a decent bunch. They've helped me with that YX to Pix and all the other like very early stuff like org, what that was, and what the numbers meant, loads of things. They showed me the books. I think they told me where I could get them books. I mean, I could take a look at that arcade game studio by Jonathan Caldwell. It's capable of making any Spectrum game for any iteration of the Spectrum, including the next. And it's meant to be a game engine. I've downloaded it, but I haven't installed it or looked at it. I'm trying to see where I put it. Yeah, that'll be something for another stream. I can't find it. Might try that out, because there's probably a way of exporting whatever you make in that as an assembly file and looking at it. That'd be great if it does that, because you could just write some real basic thing. If he's made it so that, maybe I don't know what he's done, but if it's a game engine, it's got to have some features on it, like draw sprite, maybe even some sort of tile background handling or something like that. Obviously, the color attributes, he's probably got them all locked down. I mean, that's basically what we're making here in a way. If we perfect all of these different functions, we could create a little mini game engineer, or a framework at least. I mean, it's way off, I know that. I don't even understand what's going wrong here, but I'm really lost. Maybe I'm getting bogged down with that too long. Maybe I'm going to quickly add a bit of movement in, so we can at least move it without having to keep going in and changing it. Oh, he's posted this. Post this in. It makes my life easier. Let's make a new file. Key. I don't want to call it keys because I think there's already stuff called keys. Input keys.asm. I'm going to cache the movement this time as a variable for each one. Oh, what am I doing? I've got like a tiny bit of Unreal Engine ingrained into me where I always put a B, but I'm not going to do it in this instance because I just don't like the look of that either way around. But back when I used to use camel case, all my balls would be like that. every time, without fail. But I've given up on that now. I use the lowercase. Seems to be the way they go in this. And I'm not going to prefix it. I just know that that's a bool. Again, I use a whole byte as a bool. And the way I see it, it's another trade-off, isn't it, with memory and processor. It would take more processor to actually check one of them bits. I could store all these in one byte easily with another 3 or 4 keys. But then you've got to do like the check bit command, which I think uses quite a lot more than just checking if this is equal to 1 or 0, the whole byte. Anyway, it's simpler to do this as well, so I'm going to go with it. God, I haven't done this function for a long while. Might have to get the book out, or just copy and paste my existing one from another project. Okay. Can't remember the exact bit roller that they used to. Oh, they roll it right. And I forgot also you need to do the in keyword instruction, whatever, to get any input. I'm not quite sure what that's seized. Oh, it's a 16-bit value. Oh, what am I doing, eh? I wondered if mine would have done the same thing but quicker, but that's how it is in the book. Alright. I was wondering about doing all them in one or not, but I think it's better to do it if you can. We'll obviously have to have a loop at some point resetting all of them after we've checked them. In fact, let's just make a method in here for now. Maybe this isn't the right way, but I think that'll work. So we'll cache it. I guess we can do that in here. Yeah, need to make all those. Oh, hang on. Oh, I hate that. Autocomplete it needs improving. Excuse me. We already pushing pop AF, so it's fine, isn't it? Oh, alright. As far as I can tell, that's a complete little input class, whatever you want to call it. Oh, my slider's gone. Where is it? Yeah. I really completely forget what I'm doing. I'm too much of a wreckhead. Oh, inputs. So we want to check these values after calling that, and then after we've checked them, then we want to reset them. We'll also need the player to have a move function. Right about there actually. Of course, we haven't got. I mean, we could use negative numbers, but that sounds like a needless hassle to me. Just do move left in it. Let's get into the habit of underscore there. So, I mean, we just want to change this value here and move. We don't want to have to do anything else. Let's give them speed. I could give them two different speeds. I'm just going to give them one for now because we're going to look at doing inertia soon. Of course, I want to make this a constant so that I can use it easier. Not sure if I need the A there. Let's try removing it. No, in fact, let's put it in. That might fail because he can move two squares at a time. Should be alright. That would have to be an even number though. Well, it makes no sense having an odd number. Again, this is very weak movement code. It has to be exactly equal. He moves exactly one character cell or two. Thing is, we've got nothing to delete in. We've got to come up with a way of clearing our screen or deleting. The background might do that for us actually. No, it won't because we're not drawing it every frame. Maybe I could do. Let's just try it. So Yeah. And then really at any point after we do our movement code, we can just do reset keys. I think it should improve. It's some sort of improvement of our movement code because it gives us more control over when it's doing it. Although I don't think we're really using that control yet. Alright, he's starting at 6. He should be able to move left and right now. Just got to include input keys. What the hell's all this? What have I got here? It failed. Line 21, player. Oh, that's what it means. Okay, so the deleting thing doesn't work. I'll come up with some way of sorting that out. Oh, let me zoom in on this a sec. It's a bit in the middle, look, not getting drawn. You can't get your guy to go there no matter what. Let's try one more time. That was weird as well. Look at that. I went right and some appeared there in that spot, so we've got a duplicated bit. And that's why it seems to be it's drawing over what was drawn there before, I think. And that is how many lines? 6. I'd say it's like the 12th line across. That's bloody interesting. Now that's going to help me solve it. No end. I'm going to stop the scrolling. Ah, I think the scrolling was called in a VSync. I'll just do that for now. Right. So I'll move to step 7. 8 is not visible. 9 is there. Look. Oh, I've moved more than that. I was moving more than one at a time. So that's what's going on. For some reason I've copied over in the buffer. in the buffer in the code. Some bits are getting missed out and duplicated in other places. Right. Is that on the buffer code? I reckon it is. Let's add up and down movement and then I'll call it in right. I'll do the deleting thing another time. Okay. Oh, I just blocked that off. Do apologise for anyone watching. But I've just done basically copy paste anyway. I added it. Moving up and down. I added them functions there to move them up and down. Oh, it didn't compile anyway. It's going about macro. Oh. Whoopsie. So he moves up and down fine. In all coordinates for the Y. You move on X, it's buggered. There's some duplication. Bits getting missed out. It's so strange. But that's going to help me debug it to no end. Can't wait to figure it out. It might be something to do with the shadow registers by the looks of that. Two carbon copies look split in half. Most odd. Anyway, that's enough for tonight. If you want to get hold of the code, anyone who ever watches this, it is on the GitHub. All the different iterations of it are there. Every time I make some sort of fix, I obviously upload it again. This needs fixing, but at least we can visualize what's happening now a little bit. So I'll get on with that tomorrow before I go work privately. If I make progress in the day, obviously I'll kind of show you. Oh, it's not quite a copy there. Very, very odd. Only bits of it are copied. Really weird. I'm going to come up with some more ways to test it. And then obviously I'll just go through the code bit by bit and add them sums up. I've already done that. These all add up to what I was expecting them to. I was checking each line and referring to the spectrum memory map. But I'll do that again, I think, tomorrow. So yeah, that's fun for me. But no time for gaming tonight. I'm going straight off to sleep. Have fun for everyone. See you again soon. Good night.